Okay. Go ahead and read your definition, and if it doesn't say that qualia is necessarily non-physical, then you're...
Okay, it doesn't say necessarily, it says it's not physical, which is what I said. So don't change my words and move the goalpost. But here's what it says. It's in the first paragraph.
Now you're just being dishonest, because you did say that it is necessarily non-physical. That's what you said.
I just said it was non-physical. Don't lie.
You quite literally interrupted me to say it is.
Do you want to put this to a vote? Do you want to put it?
Sanity by consensus is not a good measure. Let's just move on.
When I described that one senses were necessary, even experience fucking qualia. You literally said that. Stop being a fucking dickhead.
No, I didn't. All I said was that the definition says that it's non-physical. That's all I said. So we can bet $1,000 if you're not bitch made. You want to bet?
How are you gonna prove it though?
We can get the recording in the room.
Really? You know we're recording? We're recording.
Oh, I thought this is not.
Oh.
I guess you guys just lie. Do you want me to read the thing that proves you wrong or no?
You misspoke. It's okay. We can move on. Let's go.
That's fine. What's up, T? How's it going?
So I'm not allowed to read it now?
You've already conceded defeat. What's up, man?
How are you?
No, I didn't. I told you what I said, and I was about to prove it.
You misspoke. It's okay. We're moving on.
So wait,
I just
so
want
I'm not allowed
to interject one
to be clear. I'm not allowed.
Just move on from this shitty point. Jesus Christ.
I guess.
I wasn't here before, Elliot, but Black. Are you a dualist, or I'm assuming you think that consciousness?
Hey, look, it's Abe, the little bitch Abe. Look at this. He's here with us. This is so
no, we're not gonna do that here, bro.
I'm not a dualist now.
I think we need more gasoline, Elliot.
So,
wait, I'll go for it, Abe.
What are you disagreeing with Elliot about when he talks about the consciousness is physical?
Consciousness is physical. You're talking about qualia as being physical, not consciousness. I'm not saying that qualia is definitely not physical. It's like one of its defining features in the literature. So
you just again stated what you said you did not state.
What did I state?
You said that it is definitionally non-physical, which means it's.
I didn't deny that I said that.
Non-physical.
What I denied that I said was that it was necessarily, because you guys lied.
Fucking God. If it is definitionally non-physical, that means it's necessarily non-physical.
No, it doesn't mean that. Those are not anonymous terms. The fuck?
It's like, are we just going to say words don't mean what they mean?
That's right. We're going to fight with dictionaries. So let's move on.
No, bro. Definitionally does not mean the same thing as necessarily. That's something you made up.
Anyway, the point is this. The point is this, Black.
Like, you already lost this debate. I don't know why you're going back into it, but go ahead. Sorry.
The point is this. When you say qualia, right, you're just taking a word from the philosophical literature, right?
I am.
There are plenty of neuroscientists who don't even accept this word qualia.
That's
so
true.
Thank you. You seem like mighty attached to it, but instead of arguing about the word qualia, why don't we talk about whether qualia are even real?
I mean, we could have, but Joe was interested in the concept, and I was just trying to make sure we knew what it meant, so that people like Conrad and Elliot who were saying dumb shit about it would stop saying dumb shit.
You think that insects don't have brains? Stop.
No, I don't. I simply asked if bees had brains. You said yes, and I said
yeah. You asked that.
I never said they didn't.
Brains. You should.
Well, I didn't know.
Other people's intelligence.
And I don't know if praying mantises have brains.
That's insane. That is insane. They have fucking. Oh my God.
Okay, but there's a lot of things I don't know. Unlike you, I'm willing to admit it. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I know something.
What do you mean? Unlike you, dude. Like,
pretending like we know qualia was entire discussion.
Pull something stupid out of your ass to claim that I don't have understanding of it. We're literally having a conversation about what results from the perception of living things. And you didn't even know fucking insects have brains.
Okay. I mean, it's not the win you think it is, but okay, you win. No,
it's embarrassing. Are you fucking serious?
Not really.
The people are muted are probably laughing at you. How the fuck are you an adult and you don't know that fucking praying mantises and bees have brains?
I'm pretty sure a lot of those don't know that, but okay.
Where's Lisa?
You didn't know the jellyfish did.
Yeah, Wisdom needs to come up
I
on
do
stage.
know that
Please,
jellyfish
Wisdom.
don't
Please,
have
save us,
brains.
Wisdom.
Fucking idiots.
You do now. You do
Fuck
now.
no, I've been here. What the fuck?
All right, bro.
Can you guys just give it a rest? Can we hear from Abe? Abe is actually a very level-headed person. Abe, what else did you want to say?
Yeah, let's let somebody else talk to.
Yeah, because what you're saying is fucking dumb. You want to talk about the meta and shit, okay? But Abe doesn't want to.
You don't even know what I'm saying because you don't know what I'm talking about. But that's fine.
You're just wasting time at this point. You're wasting everybody's time by continuing the stupid discussion. Let's hear from Abe.
I said let's hear from Abe. I'm in agreement with you guys. You just fucking cried. Listen, like Abe wants to talk.
Alright, but
And you're still talking. But wow.
I guess I'll wait for Abe then.
Yeah, sure. The point is that there are two basic ways you can approach this phenomenon. One, you can approach it from a medical perspective, like a neurologist, a biologist, people who strain, and then they talk about what we found. The other way is philosophers who, in my opinion, basically either sit around on like their couches just hypothesizing, or the good philosophers basically bootstrap off the scientists who they look at their literature, their work, their experiments, and then they start philosophizing based on that. So what I'm trying to point out is there's an asymmetry here when it comes to delving into consciousness and qualia and all the words that you seem to like scientists. And all I'm saying is I think the matter needs to be researched by the people who are actually looking and experimenting with the brain, not philosophers who just make up words and then stick to them, and they don't really have any like empirical basis.
And what do the expert neurobiologists say about qualia?
Expert biologists don't use the word qualia.
Exactly.
Well, we have Wisdom down in the audience. If only he would come up. Wisdom, please.
Wisdom's above the riffraff, though.
Word to invent a word, because if they don't invent it, they basically have nothing to do.
Scientists invent words too, but okay.
But no,
The inventing of it doesn't mean anything. Like scientists do it too, biologists do it all the time.
No, scientists, they make up words when they are well motivated on the basis of empirical findings. And that's when they make up words. Philosophers just make up words just to be able to.
Some of them, not the scholarly ones, but you're not wrong. Like there are a lot of philosophers who are bad.
No, I'm not wrong. And they are.
But you have a pejorative stereotype of philosophers. That's not true of. Actually, most of modern philosophers don't do what you're saying, but it's fine. You just like science over philosophy, which is fine. I get it. It's your preference, and I don't even
It's a preference.
disagree that much because I think a lot of philosophers are full of shit, to be honest. So fair enough.
So why did you get taken in by their bullshit that you're like reading
I didn't.
about
So
qualia?
the irony is that Pro started the stuff about qualia, not me. The fact that you came in here and blamed me without knowing what happened is kind of awkward and not very scientific. Is it?
I'm saying you started the room. I'm just saying that you talked about qualia.
I was talking about qualia because Pro wanted to talk about qualia.
Okay, but it's irrelevant. You believe in qualia.
I believe in qualia.
You think they're real.
I think they're real. Okay.
I mean, do you? I'm asking you. Do you think qualia are real?
I don't have an opinion on whether qualia are real. Actually,
You're
I was just defining it in the literature because that's what Pro wanted to talk about.
Synesthesia makes me think it is real, and even more weird than we realize.
And it's something I had discussions about because I was a philosophy major in college. So that's all. I was just trying to have a discussion about it, not take a position on its fucking I don't know, bro. It's existential status or whatever, like metaphysical status.
Now, if you had to bet your money on it, do you think qualia are real or that consciousness is
I mean, I guess it would depend on what you mean by it. The thing that I think is obviously real is like people have subjective experiences of things. That's kind of what people are getting at when they say qualia. So other than that, I don't take a position. I don't know. People say weird shit about qualia that I disagree vehemently with. I don't want to be tied to that shit. So that's about it. That's about all I have to say about qualia.
We also had some other people join the stage, so somebody else wants to.
Let's have that.
Yeah, I just wanted to thanks. I just joined the room, so
sorry, could you just say once?
Say what?
You broke up a sec. Could you just say what is the one thing you said you for sure know?
Oh, experiences. And that's kind of what people are getting at when they talk about qualia. Also, there's a bunch of weird shit that people say about qualia that I do not agree with. So I'm not trying to like lump myself in with the weirdos on qualia. But if all you mean by qualia is that people have a kind of subjective what's it like to be experience of things in the world, I'm cool with that. I think that that's not that spooky.
You know,
Yeah, I don't think it's spooky either. I think it's
Well,
also
you guys
it's
converge to the same endpoint in the end. This is insane.
You know that if inputs are finite, that a subjective experience can repeat, right?
Obviously.
Okay.
Yeah, there's many ways to slice this. That's right.
Should probably carry that with you.
Has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but
I mean,
a fun fact, I guess. I don't know why you keep interjecting that issue into the conversation.
Suture, you wanted to say something? You're open mic, Suture? Or Deepak?
Yeah, cool. So sorry. Yeah. So I just sort of stepped into the conversation and I was just trying to get my head around what the disagreement is. Because I thought that qualia genuinely just meant a subjective conscious experience. And to see what the disagreement was broadly.
well, I think that what T brought up is that it could be the case that there actually isn't any qualia. That there's stuff like eliminativism. There's is there like there's illusionism. These are real theories of mind that are like the serious philosophers and people with PhDs in the relevant fields think is the case. So we should take it seriously. And it is germane to the room title of qualia of life. I don't know.
I actually, Elliot, I actually am an eliminativist.
What's up, Sutra?
Hi, Carlos, how are you?
Hey, I didn't know if Sutra was trying to say something like.
That sounded like flushing water to me.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm driving. I'll try and get up in between.
Driving in a toilet is crazy.
What does that mean when you say you're a illuminativist? Is that right?
Yeah.
Like about consciousness, about what? Can you have that kind of position about what is that? Can you talk about what that entails? I'm just curious.
Yeah, sure. So, eliminativism. Sorry, Elliot. What was the word you used before? What was it? Is it eliminative?
Illusionism.
Illusion, yeah. So I don't know as much about illusionism, but eliminativism I'll talk about because that I actually am. So eliminativism is basically just like, it's the idea that our common ways of talking about things doesn't actually correspond to scientific, reality. So I'll give an example. In the olden days, people used to use the word angry. So like if you were in the 13th century and someone said, I'm angry. So we understand kind of what that means. But the word anger, it doesn't apply in the layman's terms, the way they use it. It's not really what anger is. Nowadays, when we research it scientifically, anger is actually a bunch of biochemical responses in your body and brain. It has to do with adrenaline, cortisol, your heart rate increases. Like that's all those physical things are actually what anger is. So basically the layman's definition of anger got eliminated under, more scientific inquiry. And
That's
the idea of
Why
yeah, so
Hold on, we can't hear you, Deepak. Your mic sucks.
It's even wrong as usual.
yeah, that's not accurate. So let me just finish and then you can respond. So the
Oh, yeah.
point is, Leon. Yeah. So the point is that also like we've eliminated a bunch of other stuff like in history. There used to be like the ether in physics where they thought that everything's moving through an ether. We eliminated that once we understood that like light can travel in a vacuum. So the point is that the idea is that we have historical precedent that every time we learn more about the universe, our old layman's terms that people use to describe certain phenomenon becomes eliminated and we no longer use it anymore. So in the context of consciousness, the idea is that even the words we use when we use qualia or consciousness, those things will be eliminated in the same way we eliminated ideas about the ether or Or in biologists, remember before we knew about like evolution and stuff, we thought that there was like the vital life force that was animating everything. That got eliminated once we understood biology and chemistry. So
Yeah, like,
that's just the basic idea about eliminativism.
oh, okay, so, but you, like, I mean, it wasn't clear when you described it. You do think that, like, anger is, like, an okay shorthand for all of that stuff. Like, it's still usable. It still fits, like, or, like, when we use it and we're describing what's happening with someone, even though we're not describing, like, the set of, like, physical processes precisely, we're still, like, indicating something that has some, like, value for helping us understand what's going on. Right?
For
A different level.
Probably
At a different
true.
level.
For laymen, I think it's non-physical. You know, how could you get angry if it was physical? It has to be non-physical. That would be, that would be a claim that we could easily eliminate by understanding the biological substrates that are, you know, making up anger. So the idea is that, So the idea is just that we understand the brain more deeply. Even the word consciousness is kind of going to be eliminated, and we're not going to need it. Like when people say consciousness, they're using it as a shorthand for brain processes that are currently too complex for us to fully grasp.
Well, why would we stop using it though? I don't know why we stop, because like you're when you talked about the ether, that's like a very, I don't even think that relates, because even though we may understand, like we have a complete understanding of consciousness, we may still use like these terms because they still have like some type of pragmatic like fit for how we interrelate as humans, like on like the the whole social realm, like wouldn't that be like, okay, we can like change the underlying or like the exact like definition for the thing, and maybe like eliminate it in the sense that we now like understand whatever like the referent is, but we can still like use it at the social level, and we can still like indicate things with it, and it can still have some use value that's like important for like how we like need to understand each other or like interact or like carry on social processes, right? Like that's the thing I'm like, when we say eliminate, I'm like, oh, what does that mean? With the ether, that makes sense. You can eliminate that because we have a use. It doesn't really have any use value anymore. Like, what's its use value? Right? It didn't have a use value. You replaced it with something, with
when I say to be
orally or whatever. Is that was that
to
correct?
be fair? To be fairly honest, when I say eliminate, I'm not saying eliminate from everyday usage in language, even though it might be. But what I'm arguing for is people are making unwarranted philosophical claims on the basis of these words.
I follow you.
Yeah.
I follow you better.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
So I'm just trying to understand this better. Maybe it's my lack of understanding, but when you say like that we understand anger, so understand that anger is caused by various hormonal states and a release of things like adrenaline, like you talked about, like epinephrine, a raising cortisol levels, and various biochemical reactions in the brain. But even if we were to recreate those sorts of things, and those sorts of things are similar in other emotional states,
Every day,
right?
baby.
Same
Love
sorts
it,
of
baby.
reactions are very similar in states like anxiety. So even if we were to recreate those specific biochemical reactions, we wouldn't be able to recreate the emotion of anger itself, right? So I'm just wondering how you get to that point.
When you say recreate in what? In your own brain and another brain? What do you mean recreate?
So, like, we understand that, the emotion we feel in anger is rooted in various biochemical reactions, which are very similar to other states. So the biochemical processes which produce anger are very similar to the biochemical processes which produce anxiety. So, what's the thing which differentiates those, right? If you have the same biochemical processes, which then the output is a actually palpably different emotion, how do you account for that difference?
That's an interesting question. What's the cocktail of neurotransmitter proportions and signals and all these other dynamics? Yeah, that's an interesting question. Up to what multiple is it unique? I guess is an ancillary question to the room. like? How similar can our colors be? And when you throw something in like synesthesia, what happens then? In my perspective, sorry, go ahead.
I say I have anesthesia, and I mean, there's only one color I see that does not occur in nature, and I don't see it outside of the fucking hallucinatory, reactions that I have to stimuli. But I mean, okay, I happen to have this visual translation that I can't describe to anyone else. Okay, that's fine. Sure, I guess we could say that as an aspect of qualia. But who is to say that the manner in which my brain is physically configured has only happened in the sense of myself, right? So if we say that, then it is quite possible that somebody else also experiences this weird gray-blue glowing string when they hear a specific sound, right? That can't be described because there's no point of reference in the universe, right? Outside of themselves, but we can't prove that, right? That's it's just whatever. There's a limited amount of ways that my brain can interpret things, and because of that, it's probable that somebody else out of the billions and billions of other people may also experience the same.
Yeah, I mean, all I would say to you, Suture, is that the brain is like incredibly complex, especially when we compare it to like other organs in the body. It's by far the most complex organ, by far. So the point is, I understand that it's going to be difficult to fully understand the brain, because like for us to fully understand the heart, we kind of fully understand the heart. It's like pretty simple. It's made out of like muscle. It pumps blood. It oxygenates it. It's fairly easy. We've mapped it all out. Whereas the brain is not just like hundreds of billions of connections in a neural network. They're like constantly changing, and they're like rewiring and reshaping, and like it's not even a static organ in the same way as the heart in many ways. So yeah, of course it's going to be difficult to pin down when you say, okay, how much like neurotransmitters or dopamine fires before someone's like relaxed or happy versus the cortisol when they're stressed or angry or something. I don't know, these are good questions, but all I'm saying is we do have the basic architecture to understand your brain and what makes people angry, to some degree. The fact that we can't yet like quantify that in a predictable way, I think that has to do more with the complexity of the brain rather than like some idea of philosophy that either consciousness is qualia or non-physical or something like that.
Yeah, Norm Chad posted a study from 2025 that actually addresses this, and they found something like, hey, if you don't have this rod length for your vision, you literally don't have that pattern. That pattern is unique up to a detectability in an fMRI study. So I think it still comes down to why. So if we move away from color, talk about sweetness. So why is the molecule of sugar sweet? Shouldn't it just be nourishing or energizing rather than have this particular thing that you're chasing? The sweetness, is that the same sweetness that I taste as you do when you eat it?
It's probably similar. I don't know if it's exactly the same. It's probably similar.
Yeah, and how similar or how unique that is, it might be an artifact of language. At this point, it could be an illusion, but I think there's something accessible about it being a universal experience. So that kind of speaks to the mystery of the nature of reality to consciousness and matter. So it's a good
Yes. So
the other fascinating thing with it, I was just gonna say, is how many levers can you pull? Like I was speaking to that same thing earlier. I am too. Like why color is even color? Like you can imagine somebody's color might not be color at all. If we think of it, and we
we still agree that we're seeing red when we see red. Even that thing is hard to figure out, you know, like.
Sneaks up on you. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, my sweet could be your sour, but it doesn't even have to be what we consider taste at all. You would never know that thing either. I mean, I think you need a better way to figure it out.
Well, I'll give you an example from my surgery. They removed part of my tongue, so everything now is just overall sweeter. I've lost like the spice the landscape has become simpler. Everything is more sweet. Even things that I didn't think were sweet before now are sweet.
Yeah.
So
no, that brings up the interesting question, and I said this earlier to Black. It's like when you lose color, we're color blind, and we're basically in shades of gray. What is the shades of gray for every sort of quality of thing we're talking about is very interesting. And what does that tell you? You know, like what is the base condition? What's the 0 and 1? You know what I mean? Is really that's it. And then all those things that get filled in between, it even seems arbitrary what you're filling it in with, and like what levers you can pull from to like, hey, the brain figures out I have this thing that can make you think sweet. Make you think sour, but what the hell is that thing? That's fascinating.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think so. So it's a really great point that Mayo brings up actually, and it shows us that, and we know this. So we know that different people when they taste certain things have different affinities to them, and we've actually tied this to various genes, right? So there are certain gene mutations where if people have a certain gene mutation, they find things like chocolate more addictive. So they find it more difficult, palpably, to give up things like chocolate because the way their brain responds to it is completely different. And so if we're, I don't know, I think that it's hugely simplistic to say that the brain obviously is a hugely complex organ, but actually we know a hell of a lot about neuroanatomy. We know exactly, which parts of the brain are responsible for various sensory inputs that we have. We have various parts of the brain which are responsible for the motor outputs that we have, and we're using technology now to map onto those things, right? But to say that it's going to be reducible to simple inputs and outputs, I think is overly simplistic, because we know that even if you give multiple people the same inputs, the way they experience those in their subjective experience is palpably different. So we can't just say that this is reducible to inputs and outputs, right? That's just overly simplistic.
I kind of disagree with that. Yeah,
Well,
it could still be. Oh, go ahead, bro.
Same thing I was going to say. You can say it. I was just going to say the very last part there. You don't know if it could be not reducible to inputs and outputs, but it might not be. But it's very difficult to say that.
Yeah, thank you. I was going to say, to make a positive claim, it is possible that the reason it seems more difficult than it is because, for example, Sam Harris talked about these types of studies that have been done. For example, like if you get up in the morning and you suddenly feel like some pain in your biceps, and you're like, oh my god, like what's wrong with me? And like it's kind of like a burning pain, and it's tight, and you're scared or anxious or want to go to the doctor, because that's what your brain interprets. Whereas if you take the exact same pain and burning, and then we put you in the context of you lifting weights, you're fine with it. And you even like get excited about it. You're like, oh, I'm having a good workout. This is gonna make me stronger. So our perception of our sensations is actually influenced by a lot of stuff. Your experience, your environment, stuff like that. So it could be the case that it is just inputs and outputs. It's just the inputs and outputs are so complex that they just defy our current computational ability.
I just want to say that in both of those scenarios, the person was having a heart attack and they died. They were like, oh, it's okay, I'm in the gym. Oh, and still has.
When Black first came in the room, I was just sitting in a room by myself in Liverpool on a bike, and where I was going with it is kind of like what I put in the overhead jumbotron thing here, like the getting away from the reason I was trying to stay away from like this is because I know there'll be one camp that goes to philosophy. I know Black goes to philosophy, another camp will go to the neurosciences, and so on, right? The mathematics.
Be more creative for discussions. I agree.
Yeah. Just kind of be like, what are you generally thinking without citing the references at this point? Like, just dumb it down, right? And getting at the essence essence of the idea, right? Of then, and admittedly, we have ingested all of consumed our own, information from various sources. But if we're going to agree generally with the, we get into wave particle duality, all that kind of stuff, and we say there isn't really much to the whole physical thing, right? Like I'm going to skip past the lesson, assume everybody knows what we're talking about here. If there isn't really much to the physical thing, what is it when we say physical? And if it isn't this piece of sort of the qualia in the brain doing all the heavy lifting, because it's like at the end of the day, kind of like I'm talking about the redness of red, like we're picking and choosing from these electrical impulses that are also picking and choosing from the waves of electromagnetism, so to speak, dumbing it down again, just keeping it simple. It's like, well, what are we really doing, right? And it does get interesting wherever you want to go with it, whether you're in the matrix or anything like that, in terms of what you think that all means, right? If everything is just, I'm also doing some work with just, right? If everything is just, waves and electromagnetism, so to speak, or fundamental forces, whatever, what does that say about everything that there is? That's super fascinating. I don't think everybody necessarily has, the right answer, so to speak. And we're going to necessarily go back to, well, I read a thing, but what do you feel right about that? And does that even land with most people?
Sorry, my reception is bad, but yeah, thank you, Pro. I guess the point I might have, you broke up for me, but just about the point about the different camps. Obviously, I'm firmly in the camp of like the scientists, and to me, I don't like seeing like. Do you know Alex O'Connor, Cosmic Skeptic?
Wonderful citation. Yes.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Like I said, most of his stuff, I like him. He's good enough. But recently, I don't like the fact that he's kind of like against emergence. He's like, you can't explain how consciousness comes out of the brain. And I don't appreciate this stuff because I really think he just doesn't understand like scientific inquiry. He talked to Sean Carroll, who's obviously like a physicalist or whatever, and I think he schooled him pretty badly in that discussion. But I don't think he understood it. The point is that from a scientific perspective, if you ask us a question like, I don't know, what's an onion made out of? And we say, oh, well, here it is. Here's the first layer. And then we peel back the first layer and the second layer. And eventually we get to the center, and you keep saying, yeah, but what is the onion made out of? At a certain point, when we've explained all the relevant physical variables, there is nothing more to say. And I feel like philosophers who are intent on like there being a mystery somewhere, they're just never going to be happy because they're always just going to say, but what is it? And to me, I feel like if you've peeled away, yeah.
I do want to give credit, and I know but I do want to give credit to the idea, sort of, that horseshoe philosophy, where it's like, well, at some point you do come back around to it. That's very, very close to, well, everything really is pretty damn mysterious, right? And it's like, in other words, if the substrate of everything that we're talking about is that, it's one thing. Like, in other words, if everything is fields and electromagnetism, and that's all there is, that is pretty damn phantasmal, right? At the end, no matter how physicalist we want to be with it, I'm being very physicalist in my representation. Black pointed this out correctly, where I'm just saying that physical thing is very, very, very small. Right? Whatever that physical thing is very, very small. I don't have a claim that it's very big, but that itself isn't necessarily magic or woo or wild. It just might be what it is, and what it is we can define as weird because that's what we almost never see. We don't really, we don't see the tiny building blocks. We don't see the quantum realm. We just experience what we experience, and that by itself is fascinating enough.
Yeah, and it might be the case that, for example, the phenomena of qualia only exists at, let's say, this scale of phenomena, in the same way that chemical laws, the laws of chemistry, only exist at the scale of chemistry. We have other laws that are more dominant in a different scale of analysis. So to me, it's always fascinating because humans find themselves at around the 100-kilogram mark, which is approximately halfway across the scale of the universe. Pro, I don't know if you know this, but halfway between an electron and a star is a human, about 100 kilograms. So it's an interesting place to be because it allows the maximization of complexity.
Yes, I do. Yeah, wonderful.
And Pro, I appreciate that. I've had like conversations with some other friends who are like kind of religious, and I've really tried to like understand their perspective because one of them said to me like, "Oh, Abe, like I can't imagine how like life formed on Earth. Like it just seems so improbable. I just can't understand. Like there has to be some explanation. It can't just be chemicals.
Like improbable is impossible. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So the point is, for their point of view, they're trying to make sense of how we came to this moment and we're having this conversation talking on computers and phones. And they think that obviously the explanation is like God or something. Whereas I can acknowledge, and they think that takes away the improbability. Whereas it might be the case that the universe is just so large and vast that improbable events happen all the time. It makes it seem crazy for us, but that's only because we don't grasp the sheer magnitude of our reality.
Yeah, it's like 1 in a 64 trillion chance, and you're like, yeah, but the universe is quadrillion, quintillion, whatever.
So for us, yeah, it looks crazy, but for the universe, like, look how many.
Bro, are you like just trying to like that? I just want to make sure I understand. You're saying like that the mystery could still be there because like when you just attend to like the world from the perspective of like quantum mechanics or like some, I guess, like, you know, or whatever you attend to the world just through that kind of like perspective.
I
really hard. Is that it? Is that kind of the thing?
I would, but I would just say it in a different order. And I think it's your headphones in the back. They're reverberating here. We're all hearing it. But yeah, no, I would say that I wouldn't say it even as phantasmical as that, right? But I would say generally the same thing. I would say that the thing itself, right, has a fascinating quality to it. It doesn't have it's hard to tease more with this. It doesn't have to be an impossibility of whatever it is. It's just wild to us because we don't get to see it operating on the day to day. That alone is the thing that whatever the adjective is, if I want to call it like wondrous, cool, whatever that thing is, I'm happy changing the word. But that thing in itself doesn't have to be magic, right? But it can feel magical. And if someone wants to call it magical, cool. If a spiritual person wants to call it spiritual, cool. I don't happen to be very spiritual. At least I don't think I am. I'm not religious. I'm not spiritual. I'm just kind of observing and trying to make sense of things and figuring things out. I can feel a sense of awe because I'm like, that is awesome. Like, that's totally awesome. I think we were able to do that. But I don't ascribe anything to it by default. After that, I'm just not sure. And I think being not sure is just as awesome as people who want to proclaim their certainty. What's going on? What's up, here?
What up? It's funny timing. I just watched that the Alex O'Connor talk with Sean Carroll, and it was kind of. I've watched quite a bit of Sean, well, a lot of Sean Carroll. I watched quite a bit of Alex O'Connor stuff over the years, not a ton, but I like him. But I found his take on this to be kind of infuriating. There's always this like, yeah, but what does it mean? You know, like what like he brought up the whole Mary's room thought experiment, which I kind of hate. Like, well, you know, if she learns everything about red, but then she's going to learn something when she first sees red. It's like, well, what does it even mean? You can't learn everything about a thing. That's impossible. No one learns everything about a thing by reading about that thing, and then experiencing it. Of course, it's going to be. I don't know. I find that really irritating, and it seems like he's been reading Philip Goff or something like that. Those guys are just loony. and I guess the contrast was I normally like that guy, and I don't know what's going on.
I saw that. That was kind of interesting. I think he. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, no, my original take on him is I did not like him early on, and I gravitated more to him. But there's a lot of takes that he has that I just. But at first, I think it was just I was offset by the personality. But over time, I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of.
Wisdom is mentioning Frank Jackson. Changed his mind. I don't know who that is.
He's the guy that came up with various thought experiments. And initially, he used it as an argument against physicalism, but he later reversed his position, and now he's a physicalist now.
All right, Sean Carroll mentions that in that talk, right? But that's the guy. Okay. Go ahead.
I think Sean Carroll's answer there was, all the questions that Alice O'Connor had was like, even if you could write down every physical fact about our subjective experience, like in totality, or even if you could express it in mathematical terms in totality, something like one of those or both of those. Sean Carroll said, even if you could do that, it still would not produce the experience itself. So the thing that would produce it is the physical brain doing its thing. That was his take. And I guess he's right about that. I don't know if he's actually answering O'Connor's question.
Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry, I'm just kind of working, but I've been listening the whole time. And damn, Abe just left because I was talking to Abe about this yesterday. Do you guys know who Kastrup is? With a K? Bernardo Trump?
Yeah, I just mentioned him. I am super. Well, I think he's a dick. He comes across as a dick, and I think his ideas seem just like baloney to me.
So, okay, and it's funny you use the word baloney. So he wrote a book.
I'm using that word on purpose.
Oh, okay, good. So I saw a podcast like a day or two ago between Bernardo Kastrup and Graham Hockney, right? The Graham Hockney is like this Australian atheist philosopher, and it was really interesting because the beginning was really awkward because you had the host introducing both of them, and he introduced both of them as naturalists. Graham Hockney, he's a naturalist. So, and the topic of this debate / discussion was regarding is physicalism versus idealism, because Bernardo Kastrup defends this version he calls analytic idealism. Now
That's his own
right
thing.
It's not the idealism of what's this guy's fucking name? One of these German guys or French guys, but it's like this new. It's like this more modern idealism. So the beginning was really awkward because he introduced both of the guests as naturalists, but Graham Hockney's like a naturalist in the kind of standard sense and more familiar, something like most of us probably, or in where physicalism is pretty prevalent, some version of it at least. Whereas Kastrup described himself as a naturalist also, but he rejects physicalism. Like Hero was just saying, he wrote a book called "Physicalism is Baloney" or something like that, and he thinks these mental states, but he's still describing himself. Why I can still kind of take him semi-seriously, as at least I'll hear him out. He describes himself as a naturalist, so by that he meant there's no supernatural stuff, so no God, no just magical substance shit, nothing magical going is not physical in it of itself. Like it's not. If you can see the world in it of itself, it wouldn't be this physical shit as we see it. How we see it is through obviously our senses and like what this guy Donald Hoffman called like or like his interface. Exactly, it's his analytic idealism. Natural shit. So
both those guys have been on Clubhouse and I've talked to them.
Yeah. Well, I know
in these rooms. Which was kind of fun. Donald Hoffman's at least kind of a nice guy, but Castro really strikes me as somebody who struggles with mental health issues and is just doing this whole thing as like a hobby project to try to figure out his own weird shit.
So look, his like analytic idealism is basically saying that like really so he's doing the Donald Hoffman shit that the world just appears to us physical. It's not really actually physical like it's how we think it is. That's just how our
Don't you kind of think like, well, duh, like yeah, the nature of reality isn't just the way we see it. Like obviously, like bees see the world, bats see the world differently. Like everything sees like fine, but like Hoffman goes a step further and says like no, what you see is wrong. Like, well, no, what you see is like extremely limited, but the idea that it's wrong is, to me, is silly.
Well, yeah. So they're very related. But this whole fucking preface I just did because during this podcast, Castro spoke like 75% of the time. Oppie maybe spoke 25% of the time because I was just like Oppie. I was just dumbstruck by some of the shit he was saying. Like he was basically posing this so like as an argument for his analytic idealism, he was posing like this like dichotomy, which I'm trying to think about. Thank God Benjamin left, where he says because of all this quantum theory shit and multiverse and many world stuff, like how some interpretation of quantum mechanics have this many world shit. He basically said like it's either like that his version of quote physicalism, or he actually rejects physicalism because it's either so the physicalism we think of the standard one is true, or the real reality is this analytic idealism, and there's a dichotomy because of the fucking these many world shit. So like because the world, this physical world that we describe at the most fundamental levels in this quantum superposition.
I think most of us are at least a little bit familiar with Castro.
Do you guys?
Are you explaining anything to anybody here that we don't understand?
No. It's.
Are you sure?
Alright, what do you guys agree that, because I'll look for the video right now and I'll play a little clip. Do you guys agree there's some kind of like a dichotomy between it's either the world is physical but there's like an infinite number of realities, many worlds shit, or he's correct and there's only like the real version of reality is this idealist version. It's how he understands it. He made this dichotomy.
I don't know if many worlds necessarily has to come into it, but it certainly could.
And he even called out Sean Carroll and said some physicalists have bit the bullet, and like Sean Carroll, he starts laughing at Sean Carroll, and he's like, Sean Carroll just freely admits, yes, there's like infinitely many universes and things like that. Hold on, I think
it's a different conversation about whether there's many worlds or not. But if you want to see something fun, look up Castrop and Tim Maudlin. I don't know if you saw that. He was on Kurt John Uncle, and it lasted like 5 minutes.
It was like 30 minutes.
No, it's 30 minutes because Tim Maudlin stuck around and kept talking to Kurt. But Castro kind of left in a huff.
Yeah,
it was really, I really enjoyed it.
Are you a Maudlin fan?
Am I?
I'm gonna look for like a clip of when he's tries to make this dichotomy. See if you guys understand, because it left me just like it left Grandma be like dumb shit.
Do you guys like Moblin?
I do, but then at some point I don't feel like, where are you going? Like it, no, he doesn't quite seem to. I mean, but I often get frustrated because I feel like he starts off somewhere interesting and then never gets there. But what's your objection? I'm curious.
Similar. I feel like there's not a lot of substance whenever he's actually speaking that isn't like sort of common knowledge. That's just kind of the only thing. I feel like there's a lot of fluffery, and I hate to agree with Benjamin because the ire of Benjamin is Moblin. I feel like he's always reserved and he's never gonna say the thing that matters. And it's like, come on, bro. Like that. It's sort of the reason I said it's sort of like with you. It's like it starts out like he's gonna go somewhere, he never gets there. Just like, all right, you told me nothing new, and I didn't need to watch you or listen to you or read you.
Yeah, Donald Hoffman's interesting for that reason, because he's actually like trying to use new vocabulary and all these other things and making predictions. So his most recent stuff with the at least reality as being like a headset and everybody has a different headset. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Kind of more colloquial language. Maybe the next generation will think of it more instead of just qualia. So it's an interesting problem because he's also operationalizing it and then trying to cross-pollinate, I guess, with Michael Levin's work. So that was an interesting, if you want to watch a lecture on Hoffman stuff recently, that's the one to check out.
I like Levin a lot.
Make sure you vote in the next mayoral election.
I will, but right now I just want to enjoy the sun.
Reality isn't real, or whatever. Like it's a good book.
Like, look at it this way: what's in a recipe?
What does that even mean?
Like
reality is
what's
real.
in a
It's
recipe?
a word, right? Like these things are vacuous. Like
So what I'm saying is, if you read like a philosophy book, what you're really doing is cooking up a recipe for yourself. But a cookbook is cooking up a recipe that you're going to ingest and then defecate the next morning. One of them stays with you, the other one doesn't.
I mean, of course.
Well, there's a difference between what you call red and what somebody might sense as red, or somebody, if they're colorblind, they'll have a different for example.
There's a lot to say about it, but red is red.
Yeah, that's what Hoffman does.
The bigger question is, does real imply sameness? I don't think it does.
Exactly. We're sparkling in a lot of stuff. That's why I say.
Would you say sameness?
Does real imply sameness? Like, in other words, it can be real for you, real for me, and they're not the exact same thing, right? Like, there doesn't have to be, obviously it's the same thing we're saying, my red doesn't have to be your red.
Like, how much does Apple exist compared to freedom?
So when pushed on Clubhouse, does the moon exist when you're not looking at it? Often it's like, well, I would say no.
I would say yes.
Oh yeah, so it's like, fuck you. You're just goofing around. Like, if you say shit like that, you're just goofing around.
But it's when you say I would say no, and sorry, my food is not wearing a seatbelt. When you say no, it feels like, ironically, saying no is making a positive claim. That's what it feels like to me, right? It's like, wait a minute, you're actually doing the thing that is like sort of the claim that you need evidence for. Like, I don't feel like I need evidence for a thing that I already have evidence of just because my eyeballs left. Like, that's all I'm saying, right? I feel like that a third party could look at the moon, and that is a way around the answer. When I'm gone, well, as long as I pass the baton, who's watching, well, I think it's still there, right? Because that person could call me and go, hey, it's still there, bro, right? And I go back and I can look at the tape and go, oh, it's still there. I would need
Chicago is breaking,
extra
and they're hiding the truth.
Not there when I
For billions in debt to end this crime, puppet masters are selling our city out. Use secret organizations and shell companies to keep us all in the dark.
No, we're gaslighting you.
It's the same thing in black budgets while we're treated like slaves to the machine.
there. Not real, but life's there.
Wait, they think leadership is just a strong beat? Is this a joke?
I'll play not even a minute of it. But guys, come on,
America is the land of immigrants. I'm an immigrant myself. Came here from Taiwan when I was about 3.5. My parents were from
the moon still exists, even if every human
we grew up in a basement person's home, and they went to flea markets. It's so gifts that you connects me. Eventually they opened gift stores and shopping malls that achieve the American dream. And our stories are even unique.
Chicago is breaking, and they're hiding the truth.
For example. is another kind of question. So did we need conscious beings to know that triangles exist in our universe?
Okay.
That's a Max Planck Institute question. That's actually their quantum gravity question.
That's something I'm gonna think about. Hey, but look, check out this Castro thing where he says physicalism is either false or else we're in a multiverse. So some of you guys can hear this.
Right.
Series of experiments in the late 70s, I was a child.
So here, Matt, watch.
The results were clear, but of course, the implication is physical properties have no standalone existence. They only exist upon measurement. They are the result of measurement. And nobody's comfortable with that. We want to find out what the world is in and of itself. So people pointed out all kinds of possible loopholes, which over time became more and more ludicrous, like conspiracy theories about elementary particles conspiring and absurd stuff like absurd stuff. Situations with loopholes.
French and Indian soldiers, professional soldiers, are nearly 1,002. They are commanded by Louis Coulomb de Villiers, brother to Joseph Coulomb de Villiers, Jumanji.
It's very clear. Physical properties do not stand alone existence. The world is itself. It's not physical, and that's the other optionality, but it's
Forced to go to game breakers. You are to receive this rank as colors of symmetry. We are here to reinforce the Virginia regiment. Nobody's
reason for beginning a household to zero in their life.
That's like this.
Believing that, what do you not believe? So for me, it's much more reasonable to just bite the bullet and say, okay, physicality is an appearance, it's an image. Even we observe the world through instrumentation, we still have to perceive the output of instrumentation. So satisfying.
Okay, like I agree with everything said. You cannot escape the implication.
Yeah, I don't.
No, I do.
So, wait,
I'm just saying, I do. Here's why. You cannot escape. Let me finish this point. Let me just finish this point. You can't escape the implications of that reality. The reality. I'm not saying that the reality. We could never. It's like saying escaping death. We can never escape the fact that those implications are 100% real for us in our everyday lives. The only way that you can do the disclaimer, if that is not the case, because again, it's where I started the room. Like, when we say physical, we are literally talking about fields and electromagnetism, basically, right? We're talking about fundamental forces. And when we can't put our fingers on those things, pun intended, right? Because we can't touch them, what are we talking about? And I agree with that as a sentence. And if you want to make the next leap, if you want to say there is a physicality, well, then you have to start considering holographic principles and shit like that. You have to start going into the worlds of, well, I know that's different than the worlds of hologram, but similar, somewhere in that vein between we're looking at a holographic
Chicago is breaking, and they're hiding the truth.
Between there is where you like.
I think the my question is more whether you accept the dichotomy. It's either physical or false. And how to accept that there's physically trillions, billions of fucking physically real phenomena.
I don't think that's what you meant.
It says this is a dichotomy. You have to see Grandmappy's face when he's saying this shit, because my face was exactly the same. Like, how do
One appears to attack a child. Someone follows here on Kansas Street right in front of this restaurant. The whole thing happened a few weeks ago. Now the restaurant owner is putting the video out, trying to spark a conversation.
I think like Castro started out by defining. Well, I don't know if he defines it.
Chicago is breaking, and they're hiding the truth.
Like the meaning of the word property, that it's sort of like the way you should understand property. I think from his point of view is that it's more like an essence of a thing.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily the right way to think about properties. Properties could also just be. They could simply mean just the differences between things.
That's right. That's
what makes something different. Yeah, that property is just something that differentiates one from something else, and that is very consistent with physics. And physics, like every theory of physics, is not about like the essence of stuff. It's actually about the behavior and the interactions of the things, like an electron or whatever. Not actually what it is in itself. That's not what physics is trying to do.
Right, which is what he keeps larking back to and doing this whole, like the thing in of itself, etc. So like, just so we hear it one more time, because my question is whether you guys, and I wanted to play, I wish T was here, because I was talking to him about this yesterday, is whether you guys accept this, how he frames this as like a dichotomy. So let me play it one more time and we'll discuss it.
Just historically, whenever people claim a dichotomy, though, there's always like a third option that's paradigm shifting. So if I were to probe this, for example, I would say what are like underserved and underrepresented variations on what this could be. So I'm just thinking of how to formalize that question to get out of that.
I'm on the camp that I don't think this is a true dichotomy, but he says it like so nonchalantly.
2018, but certainly not after 2018. It's very clear. Physical properties do not have standalone existence. The world as it is in itself either is non-physical or, and that's the only other option on the table, that's Sean Carroll's favorite option. There are countless gazillions of physically real universes popping out of nothing every infinitesimal fraction of a second for no reason, for which we have absolutely zero empirical evidence. Now, if you believe in that, what do you not believe? So for me, it's much more reasonable.
The only way else that way.
Yeah, but it's a hybrid.
So I'm just curious. I'm just curious if you guys accept that dichotomy.
I do not.
Because I don't. He states it so nonchalantly. It's either physical.
It's already by observation not, because you can have a hybrid. You can have a hybrid of both of those ideas. So it's never a dichotomy. Whenever somebody says it's a true dichotomy, unless they're speaking of mathematical absolutes, biology is always full of contrast.
Like what at least we are terming physical reality.
I think dichotomy is the wrong word to even use. I think it's just the baseline of the two absurdities, right? Is all that you're doing, and I agree. There's always the spectrum in between. I mean, ironically, when we're talking about the thing with color and what's red is red, we're talking about, well, it appears like someone wants to go, it's either 0 or 1, it's either black or white, and then it's like, no, the magic is in the color in between, right? That we're talking about with this qualia thing. But you can get to the point where you say, well, is that qualia just a mapping? Is it just 0, 1 for everything? So I'm in favor of the idea that it could possibly be that there only is a binary for these kind of options, but then we apply that qualia in the middle. That's kind of what I'm saying. You can go to the weirdest thing possible and the most normal thing possible. Well, not even normal. The truth of what we've investigated, where evidence takes us, is that we don't ever have a physical thing, right? And that if you want to say that there is something that's causing this physical nature, that is a necessary discovery that you need to make that I haven't seen. Right, and when he's going to the, objects popping in and out of existence, obviously we're talking about, the countless shades of gray there is between wave-particle duality, and what the different, epistemologies are. That's fine.
So it's talking about like superposition and things like that. But in quantum mechanics, there's also this concept of decoherence, which is when you have so you have a region of space-time in superposition, right? And this is back to me and Benjamin's discussion about whether these quantum properties or effects are epistemological or ontological. Because you can have in quantum mechanics you have this thing called decoherence, which is when a region that's in superposition, however many particles in this whatever cloud of superposition, once they kind of interact with another region of space-time that for which the wave function, now there's other objects here about the wave function collapse, but it interacts or becomes entangled with a region that the wave function is already collapsed, it causes decoherence and causes and this decoherence is basically causes that region that was in superposition to collapse into was something real, and I guess decoherence, it continues to collapse. So it's just since there is decoherence at the so-called classical limit, or at basically our macro scale, we say the way at our scale, the wave function has already been collapsed. This is why we never see chairs, in two places at the same time, we don't see anything in like superposition, or we don't see no quantum weirdness in our world, because these quantum properties that emerge from the like subatomic level, the Planck scale level, at that level, they're described as being in superposition and entangled and all this shit. But by the time those quantum effects by the time that shit scales up to the macro level, so say our scale or the scale of galaxies, even cells in biology, these quantum phenomena are either no longer in any superposition or negligible amount of superposition, because it's already experienced decoherence with like the classical world, with the world where the wave function is already collapsed.
Isn't the Schrodinger's thing short?
Well, no. So it's just because this guy. So yeah, I was just curious because this left Grandma be fucking like dumbfounded, and left me as well. I was like, how are those two the only possibilities? I don't agree with him there. I don't agree with him at all with analytic idealism. It's funny because at the beginning of this, or in some of his other podcasts, his like intellectual story is almost the inverse of mine. When I first started reading about like philosophy, I was a full-on Platonist and read into Buddhism and all this stuff, and a complete idealist in high school. And then, but I am like now physical and naturalist, and you can like there's the physical natural reality, which is like the foundation, and then all this philosophy and all this metaphysics is like fucking superimposed on top of the physical reality. But these idealist guys fucking completely invert that. When the actual foundation of reality is either idealist, platonic, some philosophical or metaphysical shit, and then the physics and the actual natural reality is superimposed on top of this fucking cloud of metaphysics. And so, because he started when he was in his 20s, dude, he worked at CERN. Like, he was a physicist.
No, he was well, I don't know what he did, but he's a computer science guy. No, I like to imagine he was an IT guy. Because he's often presented as a physicist who worked at CERN. I'm like, well, lots of people work at CERN. He's never talked about what his actual role was. He's a computer science guy. I'm just going to assume he did IT. Now, the IT requirements for CERN are probably pretty intense. So that's not really like a slight. I just wish he would be like forthcoming about what he actually did there. Because he uses that as a badge. He uses it as like a for credit.
Exactly.
He doesn't really talk about what he did.
And so I agree.
That's weird.
He uses that as a badge. He uses that the way the flat earthers use. Well, I used to be a glober, but now I see the truth.
But now my brain is as flat as this table.
Fucking I used to be a glober and this and that.
I've seen
he kind of does that.
Yeah.
He kind of does it where I used to be a physical materialist, but now I see the truth.
I used to think, but now my brain is falling out.
He criticized Tim Modlin for not being a real physicist. He's not a real physicist. What the fuck? It's a fair point. Tim Modlin is not like a PhD physicist, but he's got his bachelor's in physics, and then he went on and did philosophy. I forget exactly his route, but he's got some physics under his belt. And
he has more physics
more than Kastrup, as far as I can tell from their resumes. But I don't know for sure.
But I agree. He uses he always talks about him working at CERN in his 20s and stuff. to like imply, well, I used to be a physicalist and all this stuff, you know, but now I've become enlightened and now I know.
Bro, like he was inside the temple and he saw what was
ideals.
going on, and it was crazy, and it's
And he oh my God, yo, T, you there?
Yes, I'm back. Hey, Sam.
So, I'm having the conversation with these guys that I was having with you yesterday about the Castrop and Graham Hoppy debate about, and we're talking about this, how I tell you how he poses
Chicago
some
is
weird dichotomy that like had my jaw on the ground. You during the video you see Graham Hoppy also dumbstruck, like couldn't believe what he was hearing. About this guy says like it's either physicalism is false or we live in a multiverse. Remember that?
Right. Yes.
I brought up.
Yeah.
So I brought up I played it twice. Sorry guys, but I really want to play this for T. It's just so we can get like a sense of what the fuck, and then we can all talk about find either let's find like right now I was just using the concept of decoherence as a possible way out of this so-called supposed dichotomy, but.
Right.
Okay. Explain. Break it down.
Okay. Yes. Here's the trick. When voting became a right, it is no longer at that point. It is no longer a privilege. Does that make sense to you? When you invite people to vote and say only because they have a right, that only means there's a good chance they don't have a reason. In fact, they're voting simply because that right. And this is how you drag people that are unknowledgeable about what they're actually voting for into the voting booth when you do that. I think that was a psychological game played on the people. Voting rights, not privilege.
Okay, so you're repeating yourself. So you are fine with literacy tests?
Absolutely, because there's too many people going down there voting to their own demise.
I got you. And are you okay with the way literacy tests have been used in the past?
I'm not versed on how they were used in the past.
Thank you very much. What about grandfather clauses? Are you okay with grandfather clauses?
I'm unaware of that also.
Fantastic.
Can you explain?
I got you. Under the Affordable Care Act? If so, why? If not, why?
No, I don't.
Okay, why?
I think expanding Medicaid gives too much power to the government over your health. Okay. In a society of haves and have-nots, you cannot trust people in power to control your health decisions. I think, and to add to what you just said, Texas ranked #1 with young people, children that are not insured. Texas is one state in the nation of children that are not insured. Now, this is a slippery slope. Excuse me? No.
You're proud of that?
I didn't say, no, that you're saying that. I didn't say that.
No, I'm asking.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Keep going. Okay.
No, I'm not proud of that. That's unfortunate. The healthcare is a very complicated issue. People have to be employed, number one. I'm talking about working class people that's employed. Since the Civil War, people get their insurance through their jobs. The companies that they.
World War II, not since the Civil
War. That's what I mean. World War II.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know.
Thank you very much. See, we can have a great dialogue.
You know, the black liberal Democrat plantation guys like me are really smart.
Well, I never said that you weren't. I never said that anybody that voted Democrat.
That I supported mutilating children.
Well, no, I never asked you that.
No,
let me finish here.
Can I'd like to
No,
just...
let him go.
Oh, okay.
So,
here every day, let him speak. He's responding.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so No problem.
Jonathan?
The healthcare issue is a slippery slope. Is very complicated because on one end, expanding healthcare, you would have to raise taxes because that, at the end of the day, that is what's paying for it. It is people that have to go to work that's paying for the healthcare. So you have to tax people that work to pay for Medicare, and then you have to withdraw money out of their salary to pay their insurance. So it's kind of crazy. I think we need a healthcare reform nationwide. I think President Trump's idea of giving the money to the people so they can buy their own private health care was a genius idea. I think that is the way we should go because people can control their own decisions. They can own it. Obama, you can keep your doctors. He said that 1,000 times, and we know that ended up not being true.
Okay,
but
yeah,
it's
okay.
best.
No,
Let me finish. Let me finish.
No, but that's just keep going, bro. Keep going.
You interrupted me.
Keep going. Obama's thing. He was wrong.
No. But I'm talking.
Bringing inflation down.
Okay. President Trump said, rather than giving these subsidies to the fat cat insurance companies, why not give it to the people?
And then what will the people do with the subsidy?
That's their life. That's their health. And if they want to buy insurance, if they're wise and buy their health insurance, good. And if they're foolish and take it and use it for something else, that's their business. At the end of the day, that's their decision.
That actually wasn't the plan. So the plan
Well,
is not.
I don't know it in detail. I just gave you a summary.
No, but that summary, the problem with the summary is it wouldn't just give you $800 a month, and if you wanted insurance, you could. If you wanted insurance, you couldn't. What it actually was going to give you money that you then had to use for insurance, and they would have probably done it for the tax code. So they were not going to do the tax code. So what would have happened was it would have gone to the fat cats anyway, but by not giving it directly to the fat cats, they would have been able to raise the price. It would have actually led to more expensive healthcare. But that's only the people on Obamacare. That wasn't like me or you who gets it from our job. So if the American healthcare system is so Trump, who you supported, said he had concepts of a plan. He was president from 2017 to 2021, then president now from 2025, and still to the present, ongoing through 2029 January. When are we going to get Donald Trump's healthcare plan to bring down costs and accessibility for Americans and to get better outcomes? And I say this in light of, we spend more on healthcare per person than any one other country in the developed world. That was messed up. In the developed world, and yet our outcomes are among the lowest in the. When do you think we'll get Donald Trump's healthcare plan?
Well, you would have to ask that question to the House and the Senate because they don't want Donald Trump to succeed. Can't you see the play? Nothing that he brings up, these people, they don't even want to pass the Save America Act, which means only American citizens can vote. They don't even want to pass that. So we need to get the insurance. He wants to get this done, but you have to see that he's fighting against both houses, right? These people do not want, and that's my point. These people,
Senate, Brother Jonathan.
I think it's split.
What party controls the Senate?
I think maybe the Republicans are in favor of one seat. I don't know.
Who controls the Senate, Brother Jonathan?
What do you mean who controls the Senate? You mean what party?
Democrat or Republican?
Republican.
Who controls the House, Brother Jonathan?
Republicans.
Okay, so does the White House have an Office of Legislative Affairs?
I'm sure.
Okay, so when they wanted to do the big beautiful bill, did the White House write that bill?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, so then where's the bill? Forget the House and Senate. Where's the bill from the White House on Donald Trump's health care bill, which he said in 2017 he would have?
Well, listen, just a couple of months ago, he tweeted out on Truth Social that he wanted a health care plan for Americans. And he suggested...
Where is his health care plan? It's been 10 years.
Okay, listen, one step at a time. The Save America Act is still stalling. They're still stalling that right now.
No, but before the Save America Act, in the election against Kamala Harris, we weren't talking about the Save America Act. He said he had concepts of a plan.
This is a yes or no. Have you seen the concepts of a plan?
Yes.
Okay,
I just laid it out. I just laid it out. In summary, he wants to give the money to the people rather than the insurance
That
company.
was Obamacare subsidies. That wasn't for me or you. Okay.
Oh my God. It's called Trump Care.
What about Trump Care? What is that?
I just told you what it was.
Okay.
He does not want to give the money to. It doesn't matter. Oh my God. He does not want to give the money to the insurance companies.
I
The
know
insurance
that. So what's he
Okay.
So what would it do for me? I don't have Obamacare, so I don't get any money.
Of course you would. If the bill came into play, of course you would.
So that's what I'm saying. Who gets money?
Right now, it's negotiation period, right? Their negotiation period, right?
Another question.
First things first, Save America Act. We have to get past that so we can move on to other pertinent issues.
Okay, I got you.
Right.
I got you. We're gonna come to Save America Act, and I'm gonna do that after this, but I'm gonna do one other thing. Going back to the first term. So we all knew Donald Trump as a business, like a construction guy.
Real estate.
Real estate. Yes, I was looking for real estate. Can you name me what Donald Trump's signature? He's now at 2 terms. What is the signature policy or achievement in rebuilding American infrastructure, either electronic, fiber optic, or material, that is to say roads, bridges, etc.? Does he have a signature bill that he can point to?
No, he's brought it up. It was in the Make America Great presentation. To rebuild the infrastructure. But again, he's fighting against both parties.
One second.
Oh, hold on. Let me say this. Let me say this. He's fighting against. We say Republican and Democrat. Yeah, but he is fighting, to be very truthful. He's fighting against both parties, and they call it the establishment. Okay, he's fighting against the establishment. That is who's holding the American. Okay.
Okay, but
these things that you're saying, these things that you're asking me.
To my question. So are you saying the establishment is against an infrastructure bill?
The establishment is against anything that Donald Trump proposed.
So then why did they pass? Okay, cool. So why did they pass the big beautiful bill?
Look how hard they fought.
They didn't. What do you mean? Look how hard they fought? They had control of. They did it through reconciliation. They passed the House very easily.
Once again, no, it didn't. No, it did not.
The House very easily. The House. The House. It passed the House very easily. All Republicans voted for it. So you're telling me, I just want to know. So the reason why did Donald Trump propose an infrastructure bill to Congress?
Yes. I don't know if he did it to Congress or not, but he had it in his campaign initiatives.
So this is the last question on this, then we'll go to the Save America Act. Why was Joe Biden able to do an infrastructure bill? And we know he was dead, he was pooping on himself. Why was he able to get one done? Which, by the way, he did over a filibuster, but Donald Trump could not get one done. Is Joe Biden a better leader of politics in his party than Donald Trump is of his? In other words,
well, he's a better puppet. Donald Trump can't be controlled. He's a better puppet.
You're not listening. Go ahead. Oh, so you're saying an infrastructure bill for bridges, tunnels, and roads is from being a puppet?
Yeah.
Okay, got you. So Donald Trump. Let's go to the Save America Act. Which part of the Save America Act do you think is the most important part?
The most important part of the Save America Act is American people, number one, getting rid of the paper ballots, and American people producing.
Getting rid of the paper ballots?
Yes.
You want to get rid of paper ballots?
Yep.
That's in the Save America Act?
I think so, but let me finish.
No. I want to see that.
You can verify that. You can verify. You can verify that.
Bro. You don't have to go fast. We're just chilling. I don't see anything in here about the Save America Act with paper ballots.
Okay. Well, I have more.
What else do you think is the? Did you mean mail-in ballots?
That's what I'm talking about. Correct.
Okay. Go ahead. Keep going.
I'm sorry.
I got you. So 1 second. So there are Republican states that Donald Trump won 3 times that use mail-in ballots. You think those states shouldn't be able to have them? So like in Utah, for example, the vast majority of the population uses mail-in ballots. You don't think Utah should use mail-in ballots?
No.
Okay, cool. All right.
citizenship.
Okay. Where? At the ballot box?
Wherever you have to present it. In order to vote, produce that you are a legal citizen.
Okay. So when you register to vote now, you already do that. You think we should have to do that at the ballot box as well?
I don't know how, but that's in the bill, and I answered that. Everybody have to prove that they're American citizens in order to vote. But there's too much corruption.
Do you think it should be during registration or at the ballot box?
Wherever they feel that is needed best. Where the best place you can.
Think is I'm asking you, brother. You lead the organization.
I'm not. Well, I don't. My organization. I don't lead people or tell people how to vote. I challenge them to think.
Now, I know I'm challenging you to think. Where do you think it should be?
I have no idea.
Oh, so you haven't thought it through. You just go with whatever Donald Trump says.
No. I know this. I trust it. So I guess it's safe to. Yes, sir.
Why do you trust Donald Trump?
Because he's real.
Oh.
So and it's rare.
You can trust somebody.
That's right, and that's rare.
Okay. So being real is saying you're going to end the Ukraine-Russia war in the first week, and he didn't do that. Saying you would bring down cost of electricity by half at the end of the first year, you didn't do that. Saying you would have % GDP, you didn't do that. Saying that the labor market, you could bring back manufacturing, and you wouldn't do that. Saying you would bring down inflation, you wouldn't do that. What do you trust him on?
Everything.
Okay.
Everything. Because I know what he's fighting against. I know. I kind of laid that out earlier. I know exactly what he's fighting. He's fighting against an establishment. He's fighting against people that want him dead.
Okay. And so the people in Congress who aren't passing his bills, they're fighting against him. So, do you believe the Senate should get rid of the filibuster?
Yes.
Okay. And why do you believe that?
Well, I mean, because it's time to move on and get things done.
Okay. And so when the Democrats had the Senate, you'd be fine with them not having the filibuster either?
Right.
Okay. So you don't care if there's a filibuster?
No.
Okay, cool. I just consistent. Okay. And what was your other major issue? You said you have to do the Save America Act first. What happens if they don't pass the Save America Act?
Shame on them, and that's death to America, because now you leave the gate open for cheating.
Okay. What elections have there been cheating in that you know of?
Donald Trump was cheated in 2020.
How so? Which states?
Georgia, Michigan, of course California.
Oh, you think Donald Trump won California?
Shit, yeah, absolutely.
So you think one of the most liberal states in America was won by Donald Trump?
Yep.
Okay. And how did
how did they cheat? I'm doing fine. How did they cheat? There's many ways to cheat, which is why. Well, I mean, I don't know, because I don't cheat, but I know because.
You know they cheated, but you don't know how.
Of course. I mean, you would have to cheat. They still have Gavin Newsom as your governor.
I got you. So, well, maybe the people there are just stupid. I mean, there's dumb governors all over the country.
No, I got a lot of family in California. They're not stupid.
Oh, because your family's there, that doesn't mean the other 40 million people aren't stupid.
No, that's just an indication. That's just a temperature.
I got you.
Well, no, and friends.
I got you.
And friends.
I got you. So Donald Trump is the president. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay. And do you agree that Donald Trump, as president, controls the DOJ, the Department of Justice?
Yes.
Okay. If you know that he cheated and they had the investigatory power, prosecutory power, et cetera, why haven't we seen any indictments on any of the cheating from 2020?
That's a great question. But just because we have not seen them does not mean that they won't happen.
Well, what's taking so long? He's been in office for more than a year, and I remember when Biden was in office, people said all we need is Cash Patel, Don Bongino, and Donald Trump back, and we'd have the proof of the cheating from 2020. When are we going to get the proof?
I don't know. We have to just wait and see.
Okay.
I can't give you a definite date.
So you,
We have to
I
wait
know,
and see.
I understand, but if the cheating was so widespread, why haven't they even indicted one person?
Maybe it's on the horizon.
If it's on the
Let's wait and
horizon.
see.
I got you, cool. And then do you think that the Democrats changed votes?
Of course.
Okay, so people voted for Trump, and then the Democrats then changed to Biden.
Yes, and let me say something about that. Those of you that are on social media, you ever been invited to a group and you hit the invite and it doesn't register? It comes back like as if you didn't hit it. These glitches like that. See, that's a message right there, just on social media. So if that can be compromised, of course, the kiosk at the voting location can be compromised because it's an electronic device, computer generated. So why if that happens on Facebook and these other places, when people invite you to a group and you accept the invite, and then it erases it. Yeah, yeah, it's possible, very possible.
Okay, so do the machines have paper audit trails?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so when you hit invite on Facebook, is there a paper audit trail?
I'm not sure about that either.
Okay, so then if there's a paper audit trail, wouldn't the DOJ be able to subpoena, get the paper audit trails and see the votes were changed?
Possibly.
Okay.
I think they have this evidence. I think they have this.
Oh, so what do you think they're waiting for? The midterms?
I have no idea. Possibly.
Okay.
Possibly.
Did you support Doge?
Absolutely.
What did you like about Doge?
It exposed the corruption. Because the corruption is widespread and it's been that way for a long time. A lot of people that make 100 and whatever the salary is to be a representative, most of those people are millionaires. Okay, most of those people are millionaires. So how is it possible that you become a millionaire, on $174,000 a year? So the corruption is okay. Hold on. Yes, I'm very serious. There's a lot of corruption. When people vote for you on emotions and vote for you because the culture suggests that they do.
Doge. Stay on Doge.
I'm just okay, and I'm
Doge. So you said Doge exposed corruption, like in Congress. So Doge showed the corruption of Congress people? What are you talking about?
I mean, corruption everywhere. These NGOs, these nonprofits, yeah. The corruption is widespread and it's bad.
I got you. So Doge is now officially over. It's done. Who got indicted as a result of the fraud, waste, abuse, and corruption from Doge?
To my knowledge, at this point, nobody.
Okay, so
but
Elon Musk.
It does not mean that they won't.
Okay, so we know they did a thing, but even though they haven't given us any proof of it, you just believe it without proof.
They did
Elon
give us
Musk
proof.
And Donald Trump said so.
No, they did give us proof.
What proof did they give?
Pam Bundy exposed everything that they uncovered in Doge.
What did
so? I mean, I don't recall, but
so
she had receipts.
I'll tell you one thing. They said
Sure.
that there were people who were collecting Social Security from others who were dead or didn't exist.
Okay.
That's correct. One second. Pam Bondi was the Attorney General. That level of fraud because of Social Security is punishable by decades, probably, in federal prison. Question for you: did Pam Bondi indict any of the people? Because she was a DOJ.
No.
Okay. Why didn't she indict anybody?
I don't know her reasoning, but she did.
So they exposed fraud and just allowed people to keep the money.
We don't know that yet.
Okay.
Does it have to happen on our time? Right. Just
okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. I understand. So we have to let it wait. Inflation. Do you think Donald Trump's doing a good job on inflation?
Excellent job.
Excellent job. Are you drinking or smoking or doing drugs?
Wow. Continue on, man.
What are you doing? We keep hearing snorting.
Continue, please.
Oh my God, bro. Come on, man. What's going on?
What are you doing, bro?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, you hear me getting fucked up?
No, I'm listening to you, man.
All right, cool. Okay. So, he's doing a good job. So if he's doing a good job, why is inflation higher now than when he took office?
I don't know.
So then how's he doing a good job?
He's doing a good job. Once again, he's fighting the establishment. Everybody's against him. He cannot get the things that he wants done because for that reason alone. Okay. So what we have to do, I think the economy is doing great.
No, I think people are going. What has he not gotten done that he wants to get done?
There's a lot of things that he
I'm asking.
hasn't done. The write-off, I can't really name. I'm really tired. To Urban Conservatives United.
Okay, so Urban Conservatives of America. So you're unable to answer questions about Voting Rights Act and civil rights, about the economy, about you said it wasn't a war. What questions do you feel? Do you want to do like social issues? You want to talk about welfare? You want to talk about welfare?
Real quick, in all fairness, we did tell Jonathan this would be an hour. We are now 40 minutes over that. I just want to, I want to be fair to Jonathan. He has been working all day. He did take this time out. If he wants to answer a few more, go on a little bit. I just want to be fair to him.
So he has an organization that is about like getting people to this organization. I'm just a random dude who gets fired from his jobs, according to Gerard on the app. But he doesn't have the stamina. Cool. Do you want to do the welfare and social issues? Are you against welfare or the 60s? You want to talk about that, Brother John?
Am I against welfare?
Yeah.
No, I'm not against welfare unless it's for retired people and widows, but able-bodied people, no.
Okay. So you were saying something before about welfare in the 60s. What did you want to talk about on that?
Well, man, I'll talk about this, and I got to get some rest, man. The Welfare Act. I think that was it's called the Great Society Act by Lyndon B. Johnson.
It's called the Great Society Act.
Okay. Well, we know there's a such thing as Lyndon B. Johnson.
Yeah.
Okay. There is a
1963 to 1969.
Right, and he also said, "I'll have these niggas voting Democrat for 200 years."
Yep, and I'm one of them. Keep going. Yep.
Okay, well that's good. We're on the same page.
I don't know why that annoys you.
I'm not annoyed. You sound like you're annoyed. You're using foul language now. So I'm not the one annoyed. Stop projecting. It's you.
Yeah, I apologize.
Well, thank you. Apology accepted. But anyway, I think dependency. I think government dependency is a form of slavery. I think it's two ways to make a slave. You can work him without pay, or you can pay him without work. One is physical, and one.
I think that's a great place to end it. I do want to ask.
Okay, so he doesn't want to end it. He's speaking.
Oh, okay.
No. Yes, I do want to end it because I'm tired.
1 second, John.
Yes, sure.
So agribusiness, Elon Musk, all these massive corporations, banks, airline industries, they're all dependent on the government. Are they slaves?
Oh my God! But they're job creators.
Okay, and we're job havers. I'm just asking, are they slaves?
No, they're not. They're job creators. Everybody's a slave to something. To answer your question.
My husband leaves me, and I get food stamps to supplement my working. A lot of people who work at Walmart, they get food stamps to supplement. That person's a slave because they're getting food stamps to supplement.
No, I think you missed the point.
I think break it down.
Yeah, you did. Listen, it's not about people who work. It's about taking people out of the workplace, right? Hold on. Listen, please.
Man, let the man finish so he can go to sleep.
I think a handout is a difference from a hand up. A handout cripples you and makes you dependent, and that is the game. And that's all I'm talking about. I'm not against welfare for people who need it temporarily, but I'm against welfare for people who want to make a career out of that. The black community, through generations, has been what and when I I say it in a general sense, have passed down our children. Government dependency. And that needs to stop. All right, we are God's creation. Hold on, please. I don't know those, okay, but per capita,
I
right?
said what percent of blacks are on cash welfare?
I don't know the numbers.
Well, what would you guess? What percent?
I have no idea. It's
Why
high.
would you say that? Then why are you going around spreading that, saying that black people
What do I mean? Hold on.
Hold on. Please let me finish. Can I finish? Let me finish, and I can bring clarity to this.
1 second, bro.
Sure.
And then you go. You have an organization dedicated to urban conservatives, and one of your main points, because you had these nice lines, it was clever quips, was about hand up, hand out, all these kinds of things. And you're telling me you don't know what percent of blacks are on welfare?
I have no idea.
What would you guess based off of what you think about the dependency and the generational transmission of black assistance on the government from the Democrat plantation? What would you guess?
I think it's in the high teens.
It's 3%.
Your source?
This source is the U.S. government.
Okay, well then that's
It's actually 2.5% from the U.S. Census Bureau. This last one was taken under Donald Trump's administration. Is that a good source, or you don't believe it?
Listen, most of those news outlets are liberal, but listen.
News outlets? I said from the Census Bureau. Did you graduate?
Listen, they're liberal too.
Wait a minute. They
are liberal too.
Liberal?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Last question for you, then you can go.
Sure.
Did you graduate high school?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm done. Nice to meet you. Nice to talk to you. Hope to see you again.
Okay. What does graduating high school have to do with anything? What, are you called dumb?
Yeah.
Are you called stupid?
You done, girl. You done.
Yes. I'm
Is that what you're calling me?
you a idiot.
Okay. Have a wonderful evening.
You too.
My God, the stuff that oh my God.
We needed to save that.
Trump is not doing a good job. Man, I was listening to what that guy was saying. It was absolutely ridiculous. You know, and somebody gave me a skull face in the chat. Who gives a damn? The guy is horrible, and his policies are horrible. And people are dying in wars that they shouldn't be in. Amen. You can't sit up here and have 20-year-old people, 18-year-old, young folks losing their lives because Donald Trump wants to play Russian roulette with others' lives and not his or his friends. So I have a problem with that. You can't get life back. You can't buy it back. You can't tally it back. None of that. And at the end of the day, God has a place for people like that. You know what I mean? So you can't sit up here and walk two lines at once and straddle the fence. You can't do that. You can't serve two masters at once. You either serve the people of this country, amen, or you serve yourself. Donald Trump has done, amen, is sit here and grit and serve himself. Those who sit here and say he's doing a great job, where the hell are you?
All right. I gotta ask Trent. I gotta ask Trent a question. Trent, are you there, sir?
Trent's not on stage.
Hold on. Trent, I said on welfare, cash assistance. Sorry. Because he's talking about people that don't work. So you could be working and be on SNAP. See, what you're trying to do is you're trying to prove me wrong to defend your friend who didn't know what he was talking about. I have the number, it's 2.5%.
I was like, because I looked at
I can't understand it, because
is
But it might be for the best.
He's underwater. This man promised us hardly. You got no signal, brother. You got no signal.
Can you hear me now?
Hardcore black magpie.
Divine, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, and so to your point, yeah, I was looking at total government assistance, which which includes SNAP and other benefits. Like if we just took in welfare, yeah, you're correct. Yeah. So, and to Devon, to your plug, you said that you wanted to speak to hardcore MAGA conservatives.
That's it.
Oh, maybe it wasn't you.
No.
It wasn't you. But Jonathan and Alexandra, and I applaud them for coming in. It is very difficult to come into a hostile territory like this in habitation.
They made it hostile. They made it hostile. I was trying to ask questions about the historical voting patterns, and the lady accused me of wanting to mutilate children.
Yeah, I get that, but remember the point of what
I don't want to mutilate children. That's your friends that came here.
I get what you
us of wanting to mutilate children.
No, maybe I know I'm breaking up a little bit. I'm in a place that didn't have great reception, but the reason this conversation started is I said many of you could not even have an effective conversation with MAGA, and this was proven right because Alexandra couldn't even stay. I get that a lot of the things that she said may have been offensive to some of you, and but to people on the other side, a lot of the things that you say are just as offensive.
Stop there. One second. The lady came in and started by talking about how she liked Donald Trump because he was a straight shooter and didn't hide stuff. But with me, she melted down. It was too much. I didn't say anything about that lady. I said I was trying to understand. Black people have voted in a group from one period, and then they switched voting for a group for the other party in the other period. I'm trying to make my way up. They get into their talking points. I don't care. I'm not into bathrooms. We're not voting on bathrooms. That was your friends that did that. I didn't say anything offensive to those people. The lady said she was a teen mom and he was a crackhead. Believe me, I have scores and scores of jokes and much more to go. I held all those in. Hello?
Again, one of the problems that I see with having dialogue on both sides is being respectful from both sides and understanding where they were coming from.
I was respectful.
Spell respect.
Wait, I was respectful. I said, introduce how you got to MAGA. And to be fair, Jonathan was about 3 minutes. She spoke for 11 minutes. Nobody interrupted her. And I said, okay, I wanted to take our way to how we got to where we are. A lot of black Republicans talk about the history of black republicanism and going back to that. I thought they might bring that up. When you bring in somebody who's running for Congress and somebody that has an urban, conservative, whatever, it's my bad for me thinking they had read a book with more than 40 pages and chapters in it since middle school. I didn't know that they were just going to be regular clubhouse magats. I had no idea.
So to be fair to them, when we postulated this and Patty and First Lady were on, it was around Tallarico and Texas politics. And so that's why I was trying to interject as you were asking your line of questioning. And I get, Ben, that you were not, I know you wrote your own questions and you may not have been aware of that, but that's
they were Texas questions. I was asking it because of the history of the Lily White Party out of Texas. I was trying to get to the history of black Republicans in Texas. Go look up the Lily White movement in the Republican Party. It's from Texas. I know what the assignment was. I talked to Patty and or First Lady.
And you are, again, you were in the 99th, not even the 90th, the 99th.
You ran for Congress.
Hold on, my man, calm down. You were in the 99th.
You're gaslighting, and it's insulting.
No, what I'm saying is you were in the 99th percentile of intelligence in the United States.
Do that. I know it was going to be about Tallarico. I was trying to establish how.
Yeah, I know, but most people do not know. Most people do not know all the questions. Even I had no idea of some of the questions that you were asking what the answer to. And I'm okay. No, but I actually
Do you have an institute based in Texas to bring people to the Republican Party?
So, but Ben, here's the thing. 99%.
All she had to do was say, I don't know. She didn't have to say, I want to mutilate children.
You're correct. 90% of Texans don't give a fuck about the questions that you're
asking.
asking.
90% of Texans.
I know.
Political combo. So Trent, if they don't know, and I know, and there are other people in here, it becomes a learning opportunity to know that one of the reasons that black people moved from the Republican Party was because of the Lily White movement, which was based in Texas. They were trying to make it lily white and get rid of the black and tans.
I wish you
would have taught black Republicans in Texas.
Okay, I wish you would have asked conversation on affordability.
Maybe you could give a chance to. Your friend crashed out after a minute.
Okay, okay.
And by the way, Jonathan and I did have conversations about affordability and contemporary issues.
And so the
And she crashed out, wait a minute, because she crashed out on me, sir. She crashed out on me when I was trying to bring the peace. I was trying to reset the space so that we all could get on one accord and we can move forward. But she began to continuously speak over me and then say, I'm leaving. So please, just stop. We're not, I don't need to have a conversation with you. If you want then please just go. Because how you were recapping this story and how you're trying to make a play as if we did something wrong to them, we continuously let them speak for minutes on end. And then when we, and you're doing it, maybe it's a Texas thing.
Yeah, they're really dumb in Texas. Correct. The blacks in Texas are dumb.
I don't get it. I don't get it. It's simple. The conversation we tried, we got off on the wrong start for whatever reason, but we're here now. Jonathan, he did stay. Thank you for staying. Thank you for, trying to have the conversation. And that's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. That's it. There's no need for you to try to tell somebody that they did something wrong and all this stuff. Let's just keep it moving. Go ahead.
Yeah, do you mind if I respond? Thank you. So listen, again, this is what I'm talking about. Well, I don't think you were disrespectful. And again, it's the first time using Clubhouse, and it is difficult if you don't understand like the nuances. It is difficult. It is difficult to have a conversation with people who you feel are attacking you. And I know that again.
Don't tell me that! I don't want to hear it, Trent. I'm telling you, you're going to set me off. And I'm telling you, that was not the case. Nobody was attacking anyone except for them. They came here attacking. Are you insane? Do not piss me off. That's why I say, let's just leave it alone, Trent, because you're going to piss me off. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. They came in attacking. They came in attacking the Democrats, talking all this negative things about the Democrats. So don't tell me somebody was attacking them when nobody got a chance to attack them. Don't do it. Don't do it, Trent. Listen, I'm telling you, why don't you just back away? Back away. Let it go.
Please. Pass away.
Is there a free moment for me to make a comment really briefly? I'm deeply embarrassed by that display. I think that to be running for any sort of government position in a state, and in particular in Texas, to have some sort of organization here in the state, to be in a room full of people, a little too on a piece, and you don't know who in that room is from your state and from your area, and you comport yourself the way those two individuals comported themselves, embarrassing. The display that I just saw of people who are in quotation supposed to represent Black Texans, at that, the Republican ones, it was pathetic. I can understand this idea about how it's hard to have these conversations and all these things, but everyone was very respectful. They got upset. They crashed out. They didn't know anything. I think this idea that Black Texans or that Texans in general don't care about history, don't care about certain things, wouldn't care about the line of questioning the mods were going down originally to set expectations. I think that idea right there, it is deeply troubling to me, but it's also highly disrespectful to the time that the moderators took to gather the questions, to prepare for this event.
Preparation and questions.
Come in here and bloviate for an hour.
Bloviate.
Republicans can be mean as hell, and nobody should be upset when they're fired back upon again. They're rude as hell, and a lot of them denigrate people, say horrible things about them. I had a Republican in another room call me stupid. Somebody else called me slow. I said, I don't really give a damn, because half the people here, they look like trash anyway. We're going to talk about somebody while they dumbasses got to sleep on one upstairs.
One second. Yeah, one second. All right, welcome to Politically Correct. It is now the top of the hour. It's 9 o'clock here on the East Coast. Hope everybody's doing well. Just want to do a quick reset. Of course, shout out to Penny and First Lady for trying to have this discussion today, for making the time and making the space for us to come together. And yeah, shout out to Trent for bringing some people in here. It's not what I expected. We are, of course, this will be the after discussion as to what took place. I listened the whole time. I did not partake because I really wanted to kind of get an idea of how people on the other side think. I mean, we all witnessed it, but I just think we just need to take a moment, all reflecting on what happened on this day. So, welcome to Politically Correct.
This incredibly important historical day of notation.
The floor is open, and of course, if there's any breaking news, please drop it. One second. If there's any breaking news, please put it in the chat so we can go over it, take a look at it, and see where we're going to go from here. Appreciate you guys.
But I saw that
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so we're gonna go to Tira. I heard you come off mic first. Go ahead, Tira.
Yeah.
I got something to you, please. Thank you.
I would like to as well. I think we saw like two things. I think Jonathan.
Got you. Good. RJ, I got you. Go ahead.
I think Jonathan was trying, but I also think what we saw was, and I have to say it like this, an abysmal lack of actual facts. And basically what it was, it was a belief in Donald Trump, no matter what. He's besieged, the Congress is against him, he's giving all of this information, they're just not doing it. I mean, it was conspiracy theory, but it was also devoid of any factual basis, which was very sad, right? And I think that was probably the saddest part of it for me. There was literally,
It was so sad. Listening to this Texas African American Republican. It was so sad.
Trump. And I think that really is a MAGA sensibility that we saw there, which is, to me, very
MAGA
sad.
sensibilities.
It's just a belief in this one person. It doesn't really matter about whether...
Could you imagine believing in the president? Oh, God!
I think we saw with, forgive me, I now have forgotten her name, I'm tired. The woman who was in was
so tired.
To a certain extent, a lack of understanding of the ground rules, right? Maybe they weren't laid out, maybe she's never been here, but
what ground rules? Don't upset the first N-word.
Then you have to talk as much as I did or less than I did, and it's not really as a back and forth, and I do feel that she just didn't maybe get it in the beginning, but I also felt
she didn't get it. She's not here to voice her opinion. She's here to be manipulated and spoken to.
She was able even to be really questioned in any depth.
Oh, the lawyer couldn't get the questions in
depth. It was valuable for one purpose. To me, it showed sort of the paucity of some of the ideas.
The paucity!
And the fact that
the paucity!
You know, they don't. It was really, you know, disturbing, but also
It was
you know,
disturbing.
One sec. We're gonna go RJ and Odie. Go ahead, RJ.
I just want to say I've learned some valuable things today in Clubhouse. Earlier today, and I'll try to be short, but I got a bit to say. Earlier today, I heard an individual on this app, a male who is of modest intelligence, somewhat learned, speak about how knowledge is not an asset, it's actually disincentivizing today's discussions. And after listening to this, they were correct. I see plenty of black men on this stage who have learned some things in their lives, maybe read books, studied, you know, dog-eared some pages, wrote some notes, maybe even did a dissertation.
Really?
I tell you you're all incorrect. What you need to do is leave that library. And some of you went to libraries that have several floors upstairs as well as downstairs. If you're in the stacks,
Oh my God, a room full of books.
you may or may not be on. Go out, find someone who'll sell you some crack, get yourself a glass pipe, and freebase under a highway underpass. And when you do that, you will get the knowledge and you need to lead people in this nation politically. So tell you what I'm going to do now to rectify the mistakes of my misguided youth. I'm going to go find my good brother Messi. And I'm going to find him because I know that he lives in a van down by the river.
Damn, that is a submission, brother.
Old jeans.
Great submission.
And a belt. And when I'm there, I'm going to go get me some heroin. I'm going to heat it up in my spoon. Use the belt to expose some veins in my arm.
Oh, shit.
And I am going to shoot dope into my veins, and then I will truly find the knowledge I need to exist in this America. I'm done.
Damn!
Like, 1 second. We're going to go to Odie. Go ahead, Odie. Thank you, RJ. Love when you come on stage. Odie, it's on.
Thank you very much. I'll be quick. I know the track is not here, but I would have loved to have asked him because the way Plan spoke about these two people, he spoke as if they were some intellectual coming to tell us what we've never heard before or what the maggots on the app don't see. Then I must give it to Plan. I don't know where.
Hello?
Is it me?
No, I can't hear him. Odie, we can't hear you.
Odie went out. Did your earpiece die? Odie going once.
I'm here. Odie going. Okay, go ahead. Somebody clearly stated that Trump won California. I remember when I was in optometry school, and there was a question my colleague asked one of our lecturers. I'll never forget, I was a young child. And the question the lecturer asked the colleague is, how the fuck did you get to 411? She didn't use the F word, sorry for sorry. How the hell did you get to this class? I thought that I would have calmed down, have some introspection, and ask myself, why the hell am I continuing this discussion? If somebody can say that, didn't know who controlled the house. But anyways, it's Trent I want to speak to because the way he spoke about these guys, I was expecting Margaret and electronics. We're going to go into debate, maybe argue with Ban. Ban will talk about Bill Section 1965 of the AMCD. You can say, well, there was a countersuit to that. You didn't hear that. Instead, I hear the regular rhetoric. The Democrats are giving our children. Anyway, thank you very much. So,
Request of Johnny's. We
Just can't know about the rape,
after
the abortion,
submission.
the blow.
That's a lot. I don't know what to say. But again, I said it. I love when RJ comes on stage because man, that was an uppercut and a right hook for your ass. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm biased, I don't know, but
Yeah, you biased, bitch.
I heard
You fucking
asked him
biased.
to tell us a little bit about yourself. That was done. He said his little part. She said her part. Then he said, okay, how did you become a Democrat? I mean, how did you become a Republican? What was your walk? He gave his story. She gave her story. In them giving their stories, in the midst of that, they were coming down on the Democrats and saying all kinds of different things. Now, normally, y'all know the people in this space would have gone mad and would have interrupted them. Not one person came off mic. Not one person interrupted. So when somebody tells me that they felt attacked, I don't know. I missed that part. I understand there were some questions asked, and this to that.
In the midst of that, I don't know what I got else to say, but fuck Donald Trump!
Got off to a rough start. No, I don't think got off to a rough start.
You want to talk about stocks?
To a great start. Okay, I'm speaking right now.
Hello?
And I understand they're new to Clubhouse, and I'm trying to.
Oh shit, he knew.
But at the same time, we gotta respect.
He knew they're having a conversation.
Respecting each other, right? That means just like how I listened to the stuff that I didn't even want to hear. I wasn't even saying anything about what they said, other than the fact that they attacked the Democrats. Then she just decided she was going to leave. So here we are. But Johnny, he stuck around.
Here we are.
He did the conversation. I thought, the people that were going to be coming had a little bit more experience in public speaking.
Oh shit!
And knew how to have a conversation. You didn't even get a chance.
You mean the public speaking like you did 5 minutes ago, screaming at everybody? Hello, let's move forward. Here we are.
So,
here we are.
I guess we can listen to it.
I thought Bam was good. I'm sitting here at Juicy Crab eating my crabs. It was a good debate.
He had Juicy Crab eating his crabs.
From the 90s. So I don't know what happened. Shout out to everybody in the room, the moderators. Say First Lady, I love you, Grandma. I don't know what that was all about. But it was really educational. I feel really bad for y'all. Because I feel like after the whole debacle, you got what beat up on. So yeah, but it was a great debate, great back and forth. Yeah, it was giving too much, but Bam did really good. He did really good. Great educator.
He's a great entertainer.
All I want to say is, look, Republicans, like I said, can be rude as hell. And when you speak
unlike the classy, educated Democrats.
Their lives, and they do, like I said, they denigrate people. They talk about people without remorse. And again, they don't want that
projection alert system has been activated.
And some people are disrespectful, you know what I mean, to others. So they think
Ashton.
The other party, they think that you're done.
Ashton.
I don't like Ashton. I sure as hell don't like his policies, what he has done, how he's affected the economy, and how people have died. I guess how people have died.
Oh shit! Trump has killed people.
I'm saying this kind of magic you're saying, it's not kind of magic at the end of the day. We'll never know. That might be kind of magic.
the DMV. So you sign like an affidavit, basically, when you're filling out, getting your driver's license, and you check the box register to vote, and there's another check mark that you say you're a U.S. citizen.
Right, and same thing is online, Abby, right? You go to register to vote, go to any state, go to New York, say register to vote in New York. Click on it, and it'll ask you, it'll fill out all the details. At the end, it'll ask you, click here, are you a U.S. citizen? Yes. If lying to this is a perjury or whatever is a felony, blah, blah, blah. By the way, notice Mikey Sherrill or whatever David's governor's name is, basically made a comment saying that the 400 people, did she say these 400 people are being arrested? She said, no fault of their own. No, sorry, there's 6,600. No, they mentioned the 400 voted. She didn't say we're investigating them, we're putting charges against those 400. She didn't say anything. But 400 of the 6,600 people apparently voted. So what is happening to those people? Are they just, you voted, it's no big deal, move on, or are they arresting them? I mean, nobody's talking about it. She didn't mention you'll be prosecuted at the fullest extent of the law, nothing like that.
I just renewed my registration, and one of the questions was like, do you want to vote? Do you want to, I mean, I already, I'm already registered to vote. Like, one of the questions are, like, why is, like, car registration renewal asking the question if you want to register to vote?
That makes sense, David. David, that makes sense.
No, because, like, you don't need to be an American citizen to register a car.
But it makes sense. Do you want to vote? Right? Do you want to register to vote? So you should say yes, and then it should say, okay, please upload proof of citizenship, right? Whether it's your passport, whether it's your, your driver's license, sorry, not your driver's license, your birth certificate or whatever, and you upload it. Now, the system has your data. And now you say, okay, and then they can, and then when you go to vote, you don't need voter ID. You go to vote, they pull up on their iPad when they check you in, there's a copy of your birth certificate right there. And they go, okay, yep, this is him. Okay, is this you? They'll ask, is this you? Yeah. Okay, you go in and vote.
Now, so when I vote, the last time I voted, they just try to match my signature. They don't check my ID or anything like that.
Oh, I didn't even get a signature match. My signature...
Yeah, mine was just a signature match. They didn't check
mine didn't even match my signature. I put a dash, and then I told her... I went in, I said, do you want to see my ID? She said, no. Asked me my address, gave my name and address. She pulled me up, and then I put a dash in the signature. That's not my signature. And then she said, okay, here you go. I said, do you want to check my signature? She goes, no need. Why? Is it not you? Or not who you say you are? I said, no, I am. She goes, okay, then you're good. I said, but, like, here's my license. My signature is different. She goes... Well, you not who you say you are? I said, no, I'm who I say I am. She goes, okay, well, I don't need to see your ID. That's okay. I'm like, who you vote for? I said, how will you catch? How will you catch who it did?
Yeah, who did you vote for?
Not Mickey Shell.
Directed, if you want to take a look at the link in the chat, that's regarding Minnesota's oversight committee on it. Yeah, we have ID Girl, and yeah, I'm pretty sure if we had an actual audit, you'd see how bad the fraud is in Minnesota. Thank you.
If any of you have ever been an election judge, what King Knob just described is the way that the process goes down. If you're using a Dominion voting system, the voter comes in, they give you their name, address, or some other identifier. You pull it up on the screen on the little computer. If it matches, they're good. The error that I detected is that people go to the wrong polling station, and then you tell them, hey, you can't vote here, you got to go to this location. But I never saw individuals wanting to cast ballots in Chicago without identification. And when I lived in California, I voted for Roseanne Barr for the Green Party versus Barack Hussein Obama, and I didn't need an ID or anything. It's just an absentee ballot that doesn't count unless there's like a runoff or something. So that was my experience.
Are you saying Illinois has where you have to vote in your county? You can't vote anywhere in the state? You have to specifically vote in your polling district in Illinois?
Correct. It's it's on your card.
That way anymore.
Yeah, it's on your card that you get after you register that tells you the precincts, the polling number, and where you're supposed to vote.
We can vote anywhere, but I know in Texas you have to go to your polling station. The other thing that we're trying to push is using the jury role. When you register to get your driver's license, you go into the jury pools.
try to check for citizenship or to get that affirmation. But I was trying to, who remembers that? Is David still here? No, he left. Oh no, David's there. David, wasn't it really close when Murphy ran in Jersey?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
So he did right. So those are significant votes.
Yeah, I agree. For sure, for sure. I mean, we're looking at, because, like, we were friends with him, and he was, like, my family is, friends with the campaign, so, like, we're monitoring it very closely, and it was like, he's got a chance. I mean, and then, of course, like, during election day, it's like, I guess not. Yeah, leading up to it, like, we thought there was a chance, for sure. Then who knows what happens, and if there's hijinks, there could have been hijinks, I don't know.
I posted an article about a recent ruling in D.C. appeals court about, it was, Trump had said that all these states that are doing mail-in ballots have to hand over their voter list and also barcode the mail-in ballots. It was challenged by the NAACP and they lost. So now I think this has gone under the radar. It's not really getting discussed a lot on mainstream media. I think this is huge news, requiring the states that are going to do mail-in ballots to have to give the list over of who will be getting one, plus the barcodes on the ballots. Have you heard about this? It's the last link I posted up there. Trump admin wins huge court battle, mail-in ballot.
We have some huge breaking news right now. We have some big news right now. We have some terrible breaking news. We have.
Well, I can see there's a little lull in the President Trump house, so I just want to say that we're living under a structurally white racist society, obviously, and I did my part today to help reverse the structural white racism so I could help Bima in her goal to defeat structural white racism once and for all. And I listened to a politically correct ban. He talked to a African American Trump supporter in Texas, and he absolutely harassed and harangued, cross-examined, and abused this African American conservative Republican black man who also probably believes in structural white racism, the establishment, as he put it. And I just want to thank Bima and Beaver. Congratulations on your engagement. I'm looking forward to the wedding this autumn. I am so excited to be there, and Dr. Adams is going to be your ring bearer and flower child. It's so exciting, and Marshall Rankin is going to officiate, and I just hope you can get him to take a bath beforehand, maybe spray him down with some French cologne, so you guys can breathe at the altar. Breathe, because anyways.
No, that's enough. Not Marshall is a gentleman of Clubhouse. You don't do that to Marshall.
Well, that's why he's officiating. Oh, hey, Marshall, speak of the devil, and the cheetah will arrive.
Marshall is the gentleman of Clubhouse.
But what? Everything else was true?
I'm reading this, guys. She's running for Congress. This is not a state house. The woman that was in there. If that's the person, Beaver, that you put in the chat.
For sure, that's her. I mean.
Yeah, Marshall, were you in that room at all? A woman running for Congress in Texas.
No, I'm not.
Alexandra Butler, Republican for Congress.
Right.
Marshall works for Monica De La Cruz.
Texas District 9, but is that the different person?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll have to look it up.
I just figured there's no way he'd get somebody running for U.S. to see. I thought it had to be a state person.
the last Washington Post polling data shows that the Dems only lead by 3 points in a generic poll. So, I mean, the Republicans could hold on to the House and obviously the Senate. So I wouldn't be worried at this point, but there's still plenty of time left.
It's near Houston, the area, I think.
The U.S. House District is represented by Al Green, Texas 9.
So she's running for Al Green's seat? Wow.
Yes, no. Wait, Al Green is like...
That's who was in the room?
Al Green is like the crazy guy, right?
Yeah, he is insane. Wait, Beaver, that's who was in the room?
No, I think it was Alexandria Butler running for Texas House of Representatives, District 146.
Texas House represented 132.
See, look at this, Marshall. Look at the name. The name pops up as someone running for Congress. Maybe I'm reading this wrong.
Well, is anyone else super excited that the Saudis are going to begin enriching uranium to build thermonuclear warheads? I'm like super proud of those Saudis. Very excited about the prospects of creating more nuclear weapons in the Middle East. It's such an exciting time that we live in.
What do you mean more? There is none.
No, that's not true. Actually, the United States of America has a massive weapons of mass destruction stockpile in Oman. Chemical, biological, nuclear. I don't know if you know about that, but it's one of the largest weapon depots that the United States military has. It's in the country of Oman. Oh, man.